How do you prepare for the recent exam that you sat for?
I started studying a month before, like on the weekends only, just to focus basically on heavy topics like immunology and molecular medicine. And then I started constantly studying 2 weeks prior of the exam. So basically what I do is I list out like every lectures that I need to cover, and I prioritize more on lectures that have a lot of content to cover, like immunology and molecular medicine. I make very detailed schedules. Like for example, like the whole day I'll be spending like my whole time on molecular medicine, and then I'll be doing like 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. like what is the topic I'll be covering about, and then 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. what's the topic that I'll be covering about. If you're like constantly studying, you'll get really tired. Especially when I get tired of studying, I just open up passive and try to answer them, so that I'll be studying passively, like not actively, and also get more information from that.
So for me, just like Maureen, I started studying 1 month before the exam, but I started seriously studying about 2 weeks before the exam. So throughout the year, I basically follow this method called spaced repetition. So after I study every lecture, I will make questions for myself. So 1 month before the exam, I will go through some of the questions and I would color code the questions that I couldn't answer beforehand, so that I know what to focus on. And then 2 weeks before the exam, I reviewed those questions again. When I first started doing it, it was very unnatural to me because I wasn't really used to like making questions and stuff. But as I did it, I realized that it really helped me remember a lot of the information instead of just passively writing down notes. Shout out to Ali Abdal for giving that advice.
One habit that has helped me throughout my educational journey is after you study, do questions. That way, whatever you studied will stay there. That's like the best advice I have for you. And then in UM, you have this culture where the seniors will usually compile mock questions for the juniors. So that was really helpful. Every time we finish, like let's say a particular subject, I'll go to the question banks that my seniors have prepared for us, and I'll just do the questions, and I feel like I've already mastered that subject. These questions, they're really helpful because they're very similar to the questions that were asked in the exam. So please do that. Don't be lazy. Don't think that, okay, I finished studying me, then go to the next thing. You have to do like some enrichment exercise, like do questions. It's very easy. Just do questions, and whatever you study will stay there. Trust me.
As for Rick, he does a lot of practice questions as well. He also tries to link information from different topics together because it helps him to understand the bigger picture. So the resources that I found really helpful was the Anki app, which allowed me to make flashcards. I use that a lot for anatomy, microbiology. I also watched a lot of YouTube channels. I found Armando Husudungan, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, Osmosis, Shomu's Biology. I found these few YouTube channels really helpful. I also subscribed to Dr. Najib's lectures, his website, and I found that useful for some of the lectures as well. And of course, past year papers really helped as well. I really did a lot of past year papers, especially 1 week before RSA.
For me, basically the same as Naz, I guess. I just Google like what videos like I want to watch, and then watch any videos. Basically animation videos, because I can't stand watching lectures, so I watch videos and make me understand better on what I'm learning.
I rely mainly on the lecture notes because it's more than enough for you to prepare for your exams. But let's say there's something that you don't understand in your lecture notes. I usually go online to Google Scholar, and then I'll just read articles about that topic. And if that doesn't help, then I'll go to YouTube. And YouTube is like the best place where you can understand subjects like physio, molecular medicine, because it involves a lot of processes, and then YouTube has a lot of graphic videos that shows you the exact process. And then my notes are usually just based on lecture notes. I extract important information from the lecture note and then create my own notes. Own notes will really help you when you're studying subjects like microbiology, because there are like a ton of bacteria and viruses, fungi that you have to remember. So it'll be good if you can make a own mind map. Once you understand the bigger picture, then you break them down yourself.
So just like Soti, Rick usually relies on the lecture notes, but at times when lecture notes are not sufficient, or if there's something that he doesn't understand, then he will go on to ebooks like Netter's Anatomy, Robin's Pathology, and also online resources like
Khan Academy.
Khan Academy. That's really helpful as well.
How do you allocate your time during the exam period?
Yeah.
We didn't have time. We did not have time to study.
Yeah, we did not have time to study.
Yeah.
Daily as in a month before exam, I could say I study around at least 4 hours per day. But during the weekends, in the morning, I wake up around 9, immediately open my lecture notes until 10 a.m, read at least 15 minutes of what I read last night, and then between 10 a.m. to 2 p.m, I at least study 1 hour. And then after that, it's repeat.
For me, when it was nearing the exam, which was about 3 weeks before, I started to try to cover as many subjects as possible. I would put more time towards studying the bigger subjects like immunology, anatomy, molecular medicine, and also our lectures kind of gave us the weightages of each topics for the exams. So I mostly focused my time on the topics that they stressed on the most. 1 week before the exam, the only thing I focused on was just studying the lecture notes as well as doing as many past years as possible. Your seniors will be passing down some of the past years that they've done before, and then they will also create these weekly questions that you can answer. I would recommend that you do these questions at least before the exam, because these questions really help.
I also recommend finding a friend like Zia to have a friendly competition.
Oh yeah. So it's also good that if you have people studying with you, because you are able to motivate each other to learn.
It's fun asking Zia random questions every 10 seconds and stressing him out.
I started preparing about 1 month before the exam. So usually when I'm going to sit for an exam, I try to cut down on commitments and responsibilities so that I have time to study. I'm the kind of guy who prefers studying late night, so I like to stay up late and study because I feel like those are the hours where my brain is very active. Usually, I'll target complete my revision at least 1 week before the exam. So that 1 week before exam, I'll focus purely on practice questions and all that. I think 1 month is just nice. I was already studying consistently before that 1 month. So when that 1 month came, I just had to up the game. Maybe instead of covering 2 lecture notes per day, I'll go 4 or 5.
So as for Rick, he has been studying consistently throughout the entire semester. He thinks that it's one of the best techniques to study for exams in medical school because it doesn't work to cram all of your studies nearing to the exam.
Don't pile it up last minute. Never do that. It's dangerous.
So as for Rick, the amount of time that he spent for studying increased by a lot, especially 1 week before the exam. On average, he spent about 10 hours every day to study for the exam.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
He usually would go through the lecture notes and he would also do practice questions as well.
For me, I allocate an hour for one lecture note. So basically, if the subject has a lot of lecture notes, I'll focus on them more. RSA is all about all subjects combined into one. So actually, as long as you cover all of it, I think okay. I do prioritize the subjects that has a lot more lecture notes. I think it's better for you to start earlier than what I did. I started 2 weeks before RSE, but it's better to start earlier than that so that you can have a lot more time.
So for me, similar to Noreen, I allocated more of my time towards certain subjects. For me, I didn't allocate a specific amount of time every single day, but I'd make to-do lists at the start of the day so that I cover everything that I want to cover by the end of the day. Sometimes I would allocate a certain part of my time towards discussing the content with some of my friends. What me and my friends did, we studied beforehand, and then the week before RSA, we came together and we quizzed each other. And then after that, we would do past year papers and study on our own as well.
I absolutely agree with Naz because the night before RSA, I also did a discussion with my friend, and basically most of the questions in RSA that came out was the things that we discussed. So it really helped us out, and studying alone is kind of depressing for me a bit. But you need to do that because if you don't study first before discussion, you'll get lost and you'll get pressured. So basically, the closer you are to the day, you do questions and quiz yourself. Before that, you need to study by yourself first.
Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys found this video helpful. These tips really helped us medical students do well for our recent RSA, our recent exam, and we hope that it helps you guys in your exams as well. All the best in your studies, and don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Till next time, bye!